In the peaceful countryside of 18th century Gévaudan, France, terror lurked in the form of a monstrous predator. The terror began with the horrible death of young shepherdess Jean Ballet, her throat savagely torn apart. Soon others fell victim to the beast, their bodies found mangled, throats ripped open. More and more people were killed, with over 300 victims. Their chests and throats were cut, and spine-chilling tales emerged from survivors and witnesses, describing it as a colossal, wolf-like creature with jet-black fur, a robust chest, and razor-sharp teeth. The situation was getting out of control, so a young militia leader, Baptiste Dumel, organized hunting parties with over 30,000 volunteers to find the predator. Nothing helped. However, one day, a farmer named Jean Chastel went into the mountains to look for the animal that seemed to kill innocent people. He had only a pistol and a few silver bullets. The animal approached with the intention of making him another victim. He managed to shoot the wolf and kill it. Some stories revealed the remains of human parts in the wolf's stomach. The residents of Gévaudan finally could relax. In 1973, strange events occurred in Enfield, Illinois, that left locals questioning what they had witnessed. The story begins when Henry McDaniel's children claim to have seen a strange creature in their yard, but their father dismisses it as an overactive imagination. However, later that night, strange scratching sounds woke Father Henry McDaniel, who witnessed the same creature his children had described. According to his account, the creature had 3 legs, a short body, 2 short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. McDaniel fired 4 shots at the creature, causing it to make a hiss and run away, jumping 80 feet in 3 jumps before disappearing. The police found scratches on the door screen and footprints in the dirt that appeared dog-like with 6 toe pads, but no unusual creature was found. Despite McDaniel's testimonies, the public did not believe his story. A 10-year-old neighbor even admitted to faking his eyewitness account as a prank. However, more eyewitness accounts soon emerged, and monster hunters came to the town, arresting 5 men who claimed to have photographed the creature. But to this day, no explanation has been found for the small-town creepy story. McDaniel remained convinced that what he saw was real and claimed the creature was not from this planet. In the middle of a cold night in January 2014, a military man and his best man embarked on an 800-mile road trip from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina to Lafayette, Indiana. However, the weather was terrible and the temperatures were in the negative double digits. As they got closer to Indianapolis, they realized that they didn't have enough money to pay for gas to refuel their car and were about to run out. They stopped at a truck stop, but the main interstates were closed due to the weather, so they had to get off the highway and search for a truck stop along the back roads. After finding a smaller truck stop, they went inside, hoping for someone to lend them a few dollars for gas. They found a tidy diner occupied by a waitress, a cook, and a lone truck driver. The driver bought them a cup of coffee and gave them $20 for gas. After arriving in Indianapolis, they returned to the diner to repay the debt, only to find it boarded up and abandoned. Confounded and shaken, they sought answers from a local police officer who delivered a haunting truth. They had encountered the 3 ghosts of the past. This story is a fascinating and eerie account of a strange encounter during a road trip. It leaves one questioning whether there are things beyond our understanding in this world. In the 90s, Marty loved watching ventriloquist Edgar Bergen and his puppet Charlie McCarthy. One day, her dad found a ventriloquist doll in a magic shop near Santa Rosa, California, and bought it for her birthday. The cashier gave him a strange warning, saying, "When you put your hand inside the doll, he'll come alive." Ignoring the odd comment, Marty's dad brought the doll home to her. One night, the family put the doll in the cupboard as the night was falling. Suddenly, they heard footsteps and some noise in the house. They thought it was a dog or some family member, but nobody was there, except for the doll sitting on the couch. More odd events unfolded. Marty and her dad were out, leaving her uncle alone in the house. Despite Marty's father not being present, the uncle claims to have heard his name called from the living room. Investigating, he discovered the doll, once again, seated on the couch, unaccompanied by anyone else. It was clear something was not right. The doll made the family feel much fear. They wanted to get rid of it. The family tried to burn it, cut it, or destroy it somehow. But the doll was indestructible. They put it in a garbage bin once, but the other day, the doll was still there. They finally dug a hole in the ground and put the doll there. They put a layer of cement on the doll to make sure it never comes out. The family moved, but they still wondered about one thing. Is the doll chasing after them? Julie, a resident of Portland, was driving out of the city to meet her friends when she got stuck in traffic. As she approached the cause of the delay, she saw that it was due to a car crash and realized that someone had passed away. Suddenly, she saw a woman sitting in the passenger seat of her car. The woman, who was dressed in work clothes, was in complete shock and demanded to know how she got there and who Julie was. Despite being shocked herself, Julie tried to calm the woman down and explained that she had been in a car accident. Julie noticed that the woman had an unearthly quality about her and realized that she was the same person she had passed on the side of the road. As she drove past a clearing in the trees, Julie encouraged the woman to walk towards the sun, and she disappeared. Julie was in disbelief and thought she had imagined the entire incident. However, several days later, a news story reported that a trucker had been injured in a car accident and the woman who had been in Julie's car had passed away. Julie could not believe what had happened. The incident left her feeling nervous and shocked at the same time. Robert, a paramedic from a small Texas town, recalls a strange happening that he and his partner experienced on a call in the mid-1990s. Responding to a call from a female suffering from chest pains, they drove to a very rural location using maps and mailbox numbers as guidance. Arriving at the scene, they recognized it as the same location where they had responded to a cardiac arrest call just a month prior. After assessing and stabilizing the woman, they prepared to transport her to the hospital, but upon returning to the ambulance, they were baffled to find every light on, despite having turned them off earlier. Robert's partner affirmed that they hadn't turned on any lights after their initial mistake. The sudden illumination of the ambulance upon their return remained a puzzle. Upon contemplation, they speculated that the deceased husband's spirit might have been behind the strange occurrence, perhaps offering solace to his wife in a supernatural way. Doug Averill grew up in rural Montana on his family's sprawling dude ranch, the Flathead Lake Lodge. As a teenager, he and his 7 brothers would ride around as a little gang of cowboys, checking cattle on the 3 giant tracts of land the family managed. During one summer in the 1960s, their adventures took a strange turn when they stumbled upon 3 dead cows arranged in a circle. The animals had no visible wounds, but their reproductive organs had been surgically removed. This strange occurrence was followed by a series of odd events, including the mysterious unloading of a horse from a truck, a new wrangler's unexplained injuries, and the tragic death of an old camp cook's horse. Years later, Doug received a call about a downed buffalo on his ranch. Upon investigation, he discovered that the animal's reproductive organs were missing, and there were no signs of scavenging animals or human activity around the site. Doug believes that humans are responsible for these strange occurrences, but he admits that he would prefer if they were the work of aliens rather than his fellow humans. There was an old house in rural Wisconsin where strange things happened all the time. 2 kids, Sierra and her brother Dylan, would hear noises and see different things. Their parents ignored their words because they believed it was all part of their imagination. However, things were getting worse and worse. Some strange forces seemed to surround the house. One time, when Dylan was in the house room to grab something for his mother, he stopped and saw something truly unusual. It was a little boy standing in the doorway. This was an utterly creepy experience. Sierra also often notices her Barbies appearing to move around on top of her flat doll house. One night, their parents' friend stayed overnight and slept on a couch. He felt something, or someone, was choking him, and he immediately ran away. He said he felt the presence of someone else in the room. After some time, the family got in touch with the house's previous owners. It was a true revelation. The son of the previous owner admitted that his brother hung himself as a teenager in the living room. This was enough to believe that the house was haunted. What happened in 1974 in a house in Amityville, New York, still represents a mystery. The event was a source of endless imagination for movie producers and people around the place. It was a murder that Ronald DeFeo Jr. was convicted of because he killed his mother, father, and 4 of their children. What was even stranger was that he did not use a silencer, and there were no signs of a struggle. 1 year later, a new family bought the house at a discounted price and started experiencing weird things. 1 month of their stay was enough to experience some horror events. They heard some unusual voices in the house that were not supposed to be heard. The furniture moved on its own, and even their daughter claimed she had a friend who was a red-eyed pig called Jody. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were summoned to probe the unsettling occurrences, and they too experienced eerie phenomena. Ed recounted being forcefully pushed to the basement floor by an unseen entity. The house is still there, but the current residents attest that it doesn't have any supernatural activity. A group of friends were driving through a graveyard in their friend's old Subaru when they stopped at a pond and saw a figure on the other side. They could not tell if the figure was a male or a woman. They were not even sure it was human. However, they said hi, but there was no response. Suddenly, the figure jumped up, ran across the water towards them, and disappeared halfway through the pond. The group of friends was terrified, and they started screaming and running back to the car. They wanted to start the car, but unsuccessfully. Even their mobile phones did not have service. They also heard the noise at the back of their car, which added a dose of desperate fear. More than 30 minutes of agony passed, and they finally managed to start the car and run away from the graveyard. This was a reminder that a graveyard is not a place to hang out in the middle of the night. Some strange things can really happen here that can leave you terrified. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed these stories as much as we did. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more captivating content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. See you in the next video.